Do you ever feel like women don't see you as a confident guy? Well, today, we gon' fix that. What up, homie? My name's Dave, and I put out new videos every Tuesday and every Friday to help you get the girls you want and become the man you're meant to be. Now, before we get into it, just wanna say RIP to Kobe Bryant, a true legend. He passed away a couple days ago, and honestly, still kind of got me shook. And I've actually been thinking about making a new video about like 5 life lessons that every man can learn from Kobe Bryant, because he was such like an impactful figure. If you guys want me to make that video, then smash the like button. If we get over 500 likes, then I'll make it next week. Anyway, there are certain things that make you look insecure and even weak around women, and you might not even realize you're doing them. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you what these things are and how to prevent them so that you can appear as that sexy, confident guy she really wants. Now, let's get into it.
Oh, no, not me. I'm in no hurry. I'm a slow and steady man. So no, not me. For you to worry. We got time.
There's always that moment when you're having a date with a girl, you finish that first drink, and she's sitting there wondering what's gonna happen next, and you either say, let's get another drink here, or let's get out of here. That is a moment of truth. A lot of dudes are out here snailing around, looking slower than the sloth from Zootopia. You gotta realize most guys move too slow because they don't really know what the hell they're doing. They don't know where to move the girl to. They don't know how to construct a date. They don't know how to orchestrate pulling her home. So they just kind of go along with the slow pace, hoping that it all works out and ends up in some happy ending, which it doesn't usually unless you plan it out. So there's 2 ways that moving too slowly makes you look insecure to girls. First, it shows that you're afraid to take initiative and go for what you want. A strong man, what does he do? He goes for what he wants. He doesn't wait around. He doesn't wait for the girl to make a move. He goes ahead and does it himself because he knows that if he wants something in life, he's gonna reach out and grab it and he's gonna go for it. And if you're afraid to do that, it makes you seem a little bit weak. And the second thing is it makes you look like you're afraid to get sexual. As embarrassing as it sounds, like back in college, I was afraid to kiss girls because when I was like a freshman in the early months of maybe my sophomore year, I was really bad at kissing. I just didn't really know how to do it that well. So I'd be hanging out with a girl. I knew it was time to go for the kiss, but then I just wouldn't because I didn't want to embarrass myself. This made me look really weak, and I ended up losing a lot of opportunities with some sexy girls I could have had a chance with. So to prevent this, what you gotta realize is it's better to make a move and get rejected than to make no move at all, because at the very least, you're gonna show her that you're the type of guy who goes for what he wants. And if you do make it happen, if the move does work, you end up bringing her home and hooking up, then even if it's an awkward experience, it's still experience. So, like I said, I've had plenty of awkward sex in my life, plenty of awkward hookups, but they've all helped me to have better hookups down the road. And if it wasn't for those awkward experiences, I wouldn't have gotten to the point where I got to. Just like approaching girls is always a learning experience, even if you get rejected, getting intimate with a girl is always a learning experience, even if it's awkward and doesn't really go the way you want it to. Because hey, you can read all you want, watch all the videos you want about how to have good sex, but until you start going out there and trying it, you're not really gonna make that much progress. So that's where getting that experience really helps, and it's gonna give you more sexual confidence moving forward. So go ahead and do it. Don't be afraid to make the move. Don't be afraid of that awkwardness. Embrace that shit.
She's such a fucking robot. Conversation doesn't stand a chance. No idea what to do with her hands.
So I'll talk to a lot of guys about how their first dates go, and they'll say, Dave, listen, like I have pretty good conversations on the first date. Like we have a good time. The problem is I'm just not really getting second dates. And I'm like, man, if you're not getting second dates, then you're probably not having a good first date then. And here's the problem. You can't just have these like nice, friendly, good conversations on the first date and expect to be able to keep hanging out with the girl after that. You didn't take any risks, and it made you look bad. And one thing I've heard a lot of these guys say is they're afraid to take those risks because they're afraid of rejection and judgment if they do. And so they kind of just walk on eggshells around the girl and keep things platonic. But by avoiding the risk of turning it from platonic to sexual, they actually take the bigger risk of just ruining the date overall. Because any guy could go out there, like any old Jamoke go out there and have like a nice friendly conversation. You do it all the time with other guys, right? But not any old Jamoke can go out there and actually have a sexual flirty conversation with the girl that's gonna get her attracted. So what you need to do in these conversations with girls is really within like the first 5 to 10 minutes, you gotta be aware of how it's going and figure out how you can make things sexual. Maybe it could be asking her a question like, what do you find sexy in a guy? It could be trying to figure out what some of her biggest adventures have been and some of the craziest things she's done. And that way you start bringing out her adventurous spirit. Whatever the case though, you gotta try to create that spark and don't just be okay with the platonic stuff because it's not gonna get you anywhere.
In my life, I've been an open book. I never kept any secrets. People expect for me to get it together and pick up the pieces. I've been lied to, I've been led on, I've been promised my freedom.
So anytime you're trying to get a girl attracted, you gotta expect that a girl is gonna throw shit tests at you to really challenge you to see, all right, are you the type of guy that you seem to be? Like, are you really that confident? Or is it just a facade and are you insecure? If you fail her shit test by overreacting, getting defensive, things like that, it shows her that you're not truly confident in who you are and it makes you look weak. Now, some common shit tests you might see are things like, you probably say this to every girl. Or, you know we're not having sex tonight, right? Or even, I like to take things slow. She's gonna throw little jabs and challenges at you like this, and you gotta be prepared to answer. The average guy is pretty weak, and he's gonna get super reactive and probably lose his chance at the girl when that happens. But what you need to do is stay calm, cool, and collected, almost stoic in your responses. Really, the less reactive you are, the better. And some of my favorite ways to handle shit tests are really just to agree and exaggerate. So if she says something like, oh, you know we're not having sex tonight, right? I'll be like, girl, please, you gotta wine and dine me before we get to that point. But I actually got reminded of this whole shit test thing when I was watching The Witcher last night. There was a scene where the two main characters was throwing shit tests at each other back and forth, and it was really cool to see how the man, aka Geralt of Rivia, the Witcher, responded to the girl's jabs at him. He was basically completely stoic, and it turned her on, and you could tell right by watching it.
Tell me, are there women who find this coarseness charming? Maybe someplace where they find your coin very charming indeed.
You seem to find coin pretty charming yourself.
Fortunately for you, I've determined your company and conversation payment enough.
And this is the same type of thing that can happen to you when you pass a girl's shit test. It's going to increase your status in her eyes. It's gonna turn her on. It's gonna get her ready.
Had my back against the wall, but now I'm thinking about the way up. I learned that even if I ball, I don't never gotta say much.
So earlier today when I was planning out this video, I asked Yuki, I said, what are some things that you think make guys look really insecure when you're like on a date or just having a conversation? Yuki, what'd you say?
Oh, I think when they talk too much about themselves like the whole time.
And they trying to brag and stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, why do you think this makes guys look insecure?
I mean, they are trying to impress you like from the very beginning, like just talking too much, and that's kind of weird. I mean,
About like what kind of stuff though? Like what type of stuff the guys try to brag to you about?
Oh, traveling, money, like cars, this type of things.
Wait, so dudes would actually tell you like, oh, I make a lot of money?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
For
sure.
real?
Yeah.
So there's definitely some serious jamokes out there. And this is actually funny because I was talking to one of my students the other day, and he's like, Dave, I feel like I talk a little bit too much when I'm on these dates with girls, and I try to brag a little bit too much, but it's because I'm trying to make sure the girl stays interested in me and she thinks I'm a cool guy and she wants to see me again. And I'm like, bro, it actually has the opposite effect. You're kind of you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot here. All right, so Yuki, instead of oversharing and trying to brag, what do you think is a better way a guy can handle these conversations?
I mean, it's nice when they talk about themselves, but just not too much. Like to share experiences, to share like things we do in life, like that's cool.
To kind of sprinkle it in. So if you guys are talking
exactly.
about, if you're already talking about travel, you're kind of talking about some adventures you went on, and
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
you went to Spain. He talks about a trip he had to Spain. and then he turns the conversation back over to you at the end.
Exactly. Some guys just don't let you talk.
They don't let you talk.
Yeah.
Jamokes out there.
You sat down beside me like you knew me, like you knew me all my life. Never strangers, having been together for all time.
So one of the things I used to have a lot of trouble with, especially when I was like back in middle school and even the early years of high school, was making eye contact with people. I'd always be looking down, looking to the side, and it made me seem weak, made me seem really insecure. And this same type of thing is true when you're out hanging out with a girl. If you're afraid to make strong eye contact, she's gonna see you as that weak and insecure guy, and it's really gonna kill the attraction. Now I know it sounds crazy, but just making more eye contact can make you a lot more attractive to women. Now what you should really be aiming for is making eye contact at least around like 65 to 70% of the time. You don't need to be staring at her the whole time like you're having a staring contest, but if you're doing it for most of the time, like I said, around 65, 70%, you're gonna show her you're a confident guy. You're not afraid to look her in the eyes, but you're also not like overwhelming her and maybe being a little bit too intense with eye contact that's a little bit too much. Now in terms of sexualizing your eye contact and making it more than just like friendly eye contact, one thing you can do is to actually like remind yourself in the back of your head like, yo, you're gonna be hooking up with this girl later on, and even kind of like picture that happening and just kind of have that going on in the back of your head as you make that eye contact. And it kind of gives you this sort of knowing, flirty glare that can turn a girl on a lot faster. Now bro, if you want to stop looking insecure around women and you want to really feel confident whenever you're around a girl, then check out this playlist right here. That's going to show you exactly how to be confident around any women. Let's keep it going. I'll see you right there, homie.